What's up nerds, it's Dan here, and today I have a little video for you that might make a few Titans happy. In the past couple of weeks, people have made tons of videos showing how you could combine the perk 1-2 punch with the shoulder charge, which has led to some pretty crazy builds. If you are not familiar with the perk, I will give you a quick rundown. Basically, hitting an enemy with every pellet from your shotgun will give you bonus melee damage. Well, people found out that you were also able to shoulder charge immediately after shooting, so they would also get a damage multiplier to their shoulder charge too. But the main build that people were running involved the exotic Peregrine Greaves, which gives you bonus damage to mid-air shoulder charges, which enabled them to combine it with 1-2 punch for an insanely powerful shoulder charge, which was awesome. And as I'm sure you've heard from the Titan community, they killed it. Just a few days ago, Bungie released in their latest patch notes, we've removed a bug, as they call it, that allowed players to shoot immediately before activating shoulder charge, which allowed players to apply the 1-2 punch buff to shoulder charge. So I originally thought that they just didn't allow you to do a jumping shoulder charge combo with the 1-2 punch perk, but it turns out you can't even do it running on the ground anymore. However, now for the part of the video that may provide a little hope. In my testing, it turns out that you can still slide, then shoot, and then shoulder charge. Now I don't know if they just missed this, or if they intend on patching this, but there may be a little bit of light for our depressed Titans out there. I decided to do some testing to see how I can make the most of this oversight and find out if there are still any decent builds around this. So first let me just say that I did not find a way to work in Peregrine Greaves with this new update. I'm sorry, but unfortunately these builds will not be as powerful as the one that ruled them all, but maybe we can make the best out of a bad situation. Alright, I first wanted to see what the vanilla 1-2 punch can do on its own. I'm doing all my testing on this same ogre in the tribute hall so we can compare everything evenly. By itself, the 1-2 punch combo can take out about a 6 of his health, so let's see what we can do from here. Now for the slide shot combo, it doubles that by taking about a third of his health. Now we kind of have our baselines for the damages. I first wanted to take a look at some of the seasonal artifact mods that everyone can unlock by just playing a lot, since everyone will not have exotics to use, which we will get to in a second. The first one I tried was Oppressive Darkness, which weakens enemies that are damaged by your void grenades. So first you nade the enemy, then do a slide shot combo, and we take out a little over half of his health. Not bad. Let's see what else we can utilize. There is also a mod on the artifact called Coil, which buffs arc melee damage. When we try to use this combo, we take out about half of his health, which is decent, but we need better. So let's use some exotics. Since the Peregrine Greaves are out of the picture, the only other two exotics that we can take advantage of are the Synthoceps and the Worm God Caress gauntlets, which both buff melee damage. Let's go back to the Sentinel's shoulder charge and pair it up with the Worm God Caress. I first just need to get a stack of melee damage and throw a nade. Okay, let's try that again. Stack of melee and throw a nade, slide shot shoulder charge, and I can get him down to about 1/6 of his health. That is pretty good, but I'm going to be honest, this build seems like it has too many moving parts, so I'm just going to leave this one here and move on. Next I tried the arc melee with Coil and Worm God, since I don't need a nade for this one. So I got one stack of melee buff and got him down to a little less than a third. And now let's try it with 2 stacks of Burning Fist, and guess what? We were able to kill him in one shot. Alright, so we finally got the one shot, but I still wanted to test out the Synthoceps to see what kind of damage we could do. Here with the Biotic Enhancement buff, I was able to get most of his health down and left him with just about a 1/6 of health. So I could end the video here, but as always I like to look at the build as a whole and see what the best option overall would be. You can make cases for both the Synthoceps and the Worm God Caress build, so let's look at the pros and cons of each. I just need to start off with the obvious con for the Worm God Caress, and that would be that it is straight ugly. But that's just me. Alright, so to get serious, for the upside, the Worm God Caress can overall achieve more damage than the Synthoceps. It also can help you in neutral play with more and more melee damage every time you punch and kill an enemy. So the downside of these, for one, is the look of them, but a less aesthetic downside would be that the melee buff only lasts for about 5 seconds, so you need to be pretty quick with your time between punching and then running to your target. As for the Synthoceps, the downside is that you cannot get as much damage off overall as you can with the Worm God Caress, and for some that is the determining factor. As for the upside though, like with the Worm God Caress, you can get buff melee damage that can help you in neutral gameplay. Also, the damage buff Biotic Enhancement seems to last about twice as long, around 10 seconds, and can even stay active once you aren't surrounded by enemies anymore. Now that you know that information, that leaves what super and subclass you need to run with these builds. So you need either top tree Hammers and Striker or bottom tree Sentinel, and ultimately it comes to which one you would rather run. With Striker you can put on Coil and have a little extra damage on the arc melee, as well as an extra grenade, which is really good. But for me, I don't like the super at all since it doesn't do as much damage as the others and is more suited for adds. With Sentinel, you can have Oppressive Darkness, which lets your Void Grenades make enemies take more damage, and you can also throw shields in your super, but I don't think they do as much damage to bosses. Lastly, you can be Hammers, which has no artifact mods to help it out, but your Shoulder Charge also applies Melting Point, which makes the enemy take more damage from all sources for a short time. Also, kills with your super abilities grant the Tempered Metal buff, which increases reload speed for you and nearby allies. So now that everything is out on the table, which build should you choose? Now I know a lot of people won't like this answer, but it depends on how you play and what you like. But if you were to ask me what I would do, well, this is the build that I use. I like to run Top Tree Hammers with Synthoceps for a couple of different reasons. First off, I like the Thermite Grenade that you can use from this subclass because it can be good at clearing out adds. I also like the fact that you can apply Melting Point with your Shoulder Charge, which will help everyone do more damage to the target. I use Synthoceps over Wormgod Crest because the Biotic Enhancement perk is easy to activate as you just need to be around enemies, and you don't need to time out a punch and then run at your target like with the Wormgod Crest. So it also seems easier to get that Slide Shot Shoulder Charge combo to work. The last reason I like this build over the other ones is that the Synthoceps also buff damage to your super when surrounded, so you're able to safely throw hammers from a distance but still do more damage to your main target. So hopefully this video can make a few sad titans smile just a little bit. And even though it will never be like the good old days, hopefully these builds can still make us feel a little stronger. Well, that's all I have for you today. If you have anything to add to these builds to make them better, let us know in the comments. If you liked what you saw, let us know with a like. And if you want to see more from us, let us know by subscribing. So until next time, later nerds.